Chosen. 1. Pause right here. You are not watching this by accident. Heaven scheduled this moment with precision. Your spirit was led here because you are standing at the edge of a supernatural release, a divine wealth transfer that has already begun to move in your direction. Anointed One. Something in the unseen has shifted. The old battles have expired. The old weapons have failed. For the Lord declares that what was hidden will now be revealed, and what was withheld will now be released. Open your spirit. What you are about to hear is not information. It is impartation. Chosen One. Listen closely. The moment you are living in right now is not ordinary. It is not random. It is not coincidence wrapped in emotion. This moment is holy ground. Something in the spirit has shifted around you, and whether you feel it intensely or only sense it faintly, heaven has already moved. You are standing in the aftershock of a supernatural event you did not see but were chosen to experience. There comes a time in every destiny journey when the Anointed One realizes that the battle is no longer outside of them, it's beneath them, and that is exactly where you are. What once sat on your shoulders has now fallen under your feet. What once intimidated you now bows to the authority you carry. What once drained you can't even reach you. This is the spiritual sign that the season that nearly broke you is over. Chosen One, it's done. Something in the invisible realm snapped, shattered, and surrendered. And the moment it did, every old weapon, every recycled attack, every familiar storm lost its legal access to your life. You may not realize how divine this is, but your spirit does. That's why you feel different, not necessarily lighter yet, but different. As if you're walking through the world with a stronger spine, a different breath, a quieter strength. And I need you to hear this with your whole spirit. You did not survive by accident. You crossed a threshold. You stepped into a realm where the old cycles cannot follow you anymore. The old emotional patterns cannot reattach to you. The old fears cannot recognize you. It's like heaven rewired your spiritual signature. What used to find you can't locate you. What used to wound you can't reach you. You are not who you were even 30 days ago. You may not feel fully transformed, but transformation is not about feelings, it's about evidence. And the evidence is already showing. Your reactions are different. Your boundaries are stronger. Your discernment is sharper. And the things that used to destabilize you now pass by like a shadow that can't touch the light. Chosen One, that is not growth. That is graduation. And graduation always comes with a divine shift in spiritual authority. Let me speak from experience for a moment. There was a season in my life when I thought I was being attacked because I was weak. I thought the pressure meant something was wrong with me. But when I look back now, I realize the storm was screaming because I was getting closer to the exit. The attack intensified, not because I was failing, but because the enemy knew he was losing me. He knew the contract was expiring. He knew I was about to step into the identity heaven had always seen. And that's what happened to you. Heaven waited until you were strong enough. Then heaven broke what tried to break you. This is why it felt like the final blow was the hardest. Because it was the final blow. Darkness threw its last punch, its final obsession, its last recycled weapon. And when it didn't work, when you didn't fall, the entire system designed to drain, you collapsed. Chosen One. I feel this strongly for you. The weapon didn't fail because it was weak. It failed because you outgrew its reach. That right there is your spiritual turning point, a moment of irreversible divine transition. And now you stand here not a victim of the storm, but the evidence that the storm has limits. You are stepping into a season where heaven releases what was withheld, where divine justice meets divine timing, where your spirit becomes the magnet for breakthroughs that could never reach you while you were still fighting old battles. You are entering the realm of supernatural transfer, not just wealth, not just opportunity, not just favor, but identity. Heaven is handing you promotions no human could have granted, and no enemy can intercept. Chosen one. This is where your new story begins. Chosen one. Something sacred is happening around you, even if you can't fully explain it yet. You are standing in a moment that isn't ordinary or accidental. It is a moment heaven scheduled with divine precision. The atmosphere around your life has shifted in ways your spirit feels long before your mind can understand. What once pressed against you has fallen beneath you, and what once tried to overwhelm you now bows to the authority you carry without even realizing it. This is the first sign that the battle that nearly broke you has finally ended. You have crossed an invisible threshold, a point of no return in the spirit. Old patterns no longer fit you. Old fears no longer recognize you. Old wounds no longer have permission to reopen. It's not because you suddenly became stronger overnight, but because the season that demanded your fight has expired. A new chapter has opened, and you are walking into it with a different spirit, a different posture, and a different kind of strength. Whether you feel it intensely or only as a quiet stirring, the truth remains the same. You have graduated from a cycle that was never meant to follow you into your future. There were years when you carried battles that didn't begin with you, weights inherited from your lineage, patterns passed down quietly through generations, pain absorbed from places you never chose. It felt unfair, heavy, and sometimes unbearable, but chosen one. Those burdens became the very furnace that shaped your resilience. They became the training ground where heaven strengthened your discernment, sharpened your spirit, and awakened your authority. Many before you could not carry what you carried, but you endured. And endurance always attracts heaven's attention. I say this from experience. There were seasons in my own life when the warfare made no sense, when I wondered why the storm felt too big for the life I was living. Only later did I understand that some of us are chosen to break what others bowed to. Some of us are chosen to end stories that never belonged in our bloodline. Some of us are chosen to be the interruption, the one who stops the cycle, the one who rises where others fell, the one who steps out of patterns that swallowed generations before us. You are one of those chosen souls. And that is why your suffering felt disproportionate, why the pressure felt unnatural, and why the battles felt deeper than your own story. But something shifted, something broke. Not in you, but around you. The final blow that was sent to take you out didn't defeat you, it revealed you. Darkness threw its last weapon, its final attempt to stop you, and when it failed, all of hell realized it had lost its claim. The moment you survived what was designed to finish you, heaven issued a new verdict over your life. The cycle ended. The curse lost its grip. The storm exhausted its power. What once clung to you now falls off you effortlessly because your spirit has risen beyond its reach. And when a season ends in the spirit, something miraculous always follows a transfer. A shift in authority, a shift in access, a shift in ownership. Things that were once withheld begin to move toward you. Doors that were sealed for years begin to unlock. Opportunities that seemed impossible begin to circle back in new forms. This isn't compensation, it's restoration. Compensation gives you back what you lost. Restoration elevates you beyond anything you've known, and that is what heaven is preparing for you now. You are stepping into a time when heaven releases what was blocked, delayed, or diverted. You're entering a realm where favor finds you without force, where clarity rises without confusion, where blessings appear without striving. This is not about trying harder. It's about aligning deeper. Your spirit has already outgrown the battles that once terrified you. Now heaven is preparing to reward the version of you that refused to break. Chosen one. You are being promoted in the unseen. Your life is shifting into alignment with everything heaven once whispered over you, and this time nothing can interrupt what God has already begun. Chosen one. Now that you've stepped into this new spiritual landscape, you may notice that life feels strangely quiet. Not empty, not stagnant, but quiet in a way your soul isn't used to. That quiet is not a void, it's confirmation. It is the sound of a storm that has finally spent itself. The battles that once swirled around you no longer have the strength to rise. What you're sensing is the calm that follows divine intervention. This quiet is heaven giving you space to breathe again, to feel again, to exist without being hunted by yesterday's shadows. And in this stillness, something beautiful is happening. You are beginning to hear yourself again, the real you, the you beneath the survival armor, the you God has been shaping all along. The noise that once drowned out your purpose is gone, and now your spirit can finally rise without resistance. For the first time in a long time, you are not surviving. You are transitioning, you are unfolding, you are stepping into a version of yourself that suffering could not kill. It's important for you to understand this. The pain didn't end because life got easier. The pain ended because you changed dimensions. You outgrew the frequency where your old battles existed. That's why certain triggers no longer sting the way they used to. That's why the same comments, the same faces, the same circumstances feel strangely distant. You haven't escaped reality, you've ascended above what used to control you. It's like tuning a radio away from static. The chaos is still out there, but you're no longer tuned to it. I've felt this shift in my own life before. There were seasons when old wounds used to flare up with the smallest provocation. But once heaven lifted me into a higher place, I realized that what once triggered me now passed through me like smoke through open air. That is what's happening to you. You're not becoming numb, you're becoming free. Your spirit has learned to recognize danger before it forms. You sense intentions without words. You see truth without evidence. This isn't paranoia, it's discernment sharpened through survival. And now, because of everything you've endured, because of everything you've outgrown, heaven is entrusting you with something rare: immunity, a spiritual immunity that shields you from what once slipped through the cracks. Manipulation can't find a doorway, betrayal can't find a weakness, deception can't find a blind spot. You've been through enough pain to know that your soul cannot afford another cycle like the ones you just broke, and heaven agrees. That's why the door behind you has been sealed for good. This immunity is not just protection, it is preparation. Heaven is preparing you to walk in rooms you once felt unworthy of, preparing you to hold blessings you once felt too fragile for, preparing you to carry authority you once didn't trust yourself with. You are not the same person who cried on the bathroom floor, who questioned their worth, who doubted their strength. That version of you served its purpose, but it is not the one who inherits what's coming. Chosen one, you have become a fortress, not hardened by bitterness, but reinforced by wisdom. The wounds that once weakened you have become the steel in your foundation. The heartbreaks that once broke you have become the data that guides your intuition. You don't need to learn the same painful lessons anymore because your spirit now recognizes danger before it ever reaches your doorstep. And this is why heaven is so ready to accelerate you. Heaven can only promote a soul that is prepared, and you are finally prepared in ways you never were before. The very battles that once made you feel unqualified have now made you unstoppable. You carry scars, yes, but they testify. They speak of resilience, of insight, of authority earned through fire. This is the moment where your past can no longer argue with your future. You have grown past every tactic designed to destroy you. You have become someone darkness cannot manipulate, cannot intimidate, cannot access. And that is exactly why your next season will be unlike anything you have lived before. Chosen one, now that you've risen into this new place, you need to understand the full weight of what your breakthrough has triggered in the unseen. When heaven promotes you, the spiritual world rearranges itself around your identity. And right now, the very forces that once tried to keep you buried are being forced to acknowledge your elevation. They know they've lost their grip. They know their access has been revoked. What once stalked you can no longer follow you into the realm you now occupy. This is why certain people are reacting strangely. It's why old connections feel out of place, like clothing that no longer fits your spirit. When you rise, not everyone can rise with you. Some relationships were built on a version of you that no longer exists. Some people were only compatible with your wounds, not your healing. They resonated with your brokenness, but they cannot stand in the presence of your authority. You will notice the distance growing not because you are cold, but because your spirit is ascending and their energy can't breathe in higher air. And that's okay. That's divine. Elevation always exposes what cannot continue. It reveals who is aligned with destiny and who is aligned with history. You are no longer living by memory. You are living by mandate. You are no longer pulled backward by familiar patterns. You are pulled forward by a future that demands your full presence. I've lived through a shift like that. The moment heaven lifted me, I realized the people who were most comfortable with the old me were the first to feel threatened by the new one. They weren't reacting to my growth. They were reacting to the authority my growth carried. Because elevation doesn't just change how you walk, it changes how your presence registers in the spirit. You become a disruption to anything built on insecurity, manipulation, or spiritual laziness. People sense that you can now see through them, and that alone unsettles those who benefited from your old blindness. Chosen one. This is your reality now. You carry revelation that exposes shadows without you speaking a word. Your clarity is louder than your voice. Your peace is louder than your trauma. Your presence is louder than your past. This is why the enemy fears you, not because of your achievements, but because of your awareness. Once a person becomes aware of who they are spiritually and purposefully, darkness loses its leverage. The enemy cannot manipulate someone who has learned to recognize patterns. He cannot deceive someone who survived deception. He cannot trap someone who no longer reacts from old wounds. And this is why heaven is moving you into territories you once thought were reserved for others. New opportunities, new favor, new connections, new provision. You are being positioned for rooms where your healed identity is required. Rooms where your discernment will guide decisions. Rooms where your voice will shift atmospheres. Rooms where the authority you earned through suffering will make you the safest one there. But let's go deeper. Elevation is not only about where you're going, it's about who you've become. You are now the kind of person who can carry abundance without losing yourself. You can carry influence without compromising your soul. You can carry blessings without attracting the wrong attachments. You can carry wealth without it corrupting your identity. This is crucial because heaven never releases a blessing that will destroy you. Heaven waits until you are shaped enough to hold what you prayed for. And chosen one, you are now shaped. Your character has been built in silence. Your humility has been refined through heartbreak. Your discernment has been sharpened through disappointment. Your boundaries have been forged through betrayal. Everything you faced was not punishment, it was preparation. You have finally become the version of yourself who can sustain the destiny designed for you. The old, you may have prayed for it, but the new you is the one who can steward it. And now, because heaven sees you as ready, the door in front of you is opening. Not with force, not with fear, but with divine ease. What resisted you before will now recognize you. What ignored you before will now seek you. What passed you by will now return with honor. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season where you don't chase, you attract. Where you don't beg, you receive. Where you don't strive, you walk in alignment. Your identity has opened the door. Your authority will help you enter, and your maturity will help you stay. Chosen one. Now that heaven has sealed this elevation over your life, you need to understand the deeper mystery behind your suffering. The weight you carried was never random. The battles you endured were never isolated. You were not fighting only for yourself. You were contending for an entire bloodline. What felt personal was actually generational. What felt unfair was actually ancestral. You were chosen to confront what everyone before you survived, but could never defeat. Some families pass down land, others pass down wisdom. But many pass down wounds, accumulated traumas, unhealed patterns, fear-based mindsets, unhealthy relationships, poverty cycles, emotional silence, spiritual blindness. These burdens move quietly from one generation to the next, like a shadow that no one can outrun. And for years your lineage simply endured folding under the weight every time the battle resurfaced. But then you arrived. And something about your spirit, your resilience, your calling made you different. You were not born to carry the wound, you were born to break it. You were not born to repeat the pattern, you were born to end it. And because of that assignment, the pressure on your life was heavier than anything your family tree had experienced. You were the one who confronted the storm that everyone else was swallowed by. And chosen one, you didn't just face it, you finished it. I've witnessed this in my own journey. When I look back, the pain that made no sense at the time now looks like a blueprint of liberation. The attacks were too targeted, the losses too precise, the suffering too layered to be coincidence. And that's when I realized I wasn't fighting for me. I was fighting for the child I would become, the adult I would grow into, and the generation that would follow me. The wounds I healed became the ceiling my future family would never have to hit. The patterns I broke became the foundation for a new lineage that would never taste what I tasted. Chosen one, this is your reality too. You confronted the battles your ancestors avoided. You fought the addictions they surrendered to. You rejected the relationships that enslaved them. You challenged the beliefs that kept them small. You survived the storms that destroyed them. This is why heaven honors you the way it does, not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. You stood where everyone else collapsed. You rose where others retreated. You questioned what others accepted, and because you refused to continue what was killing your lineage, heaven chose you as the breaker, the healer, the initiator of a new beginning. The curse didn't end because it lost interest. The curse ended because it met its match, you. And now that the cycle has been broken, you are stepping into a freedom your ancestors prayed for, but never lived long enough to see. You are stepping into blessings that were stored for generations, waiting for someone strong enough, surrendered enough, spiritually awakened enough to receive them. The blessings coming to you now do not start with you. They started generations ago. You are simply the first one healed enough to inherit them. This is why your next season will feel so different. You are no longer fighting for survival. You are now building a legacy. You are shaping a lineage of freedom. You are planting seeds of blessing where your family once planted seeds of fear. You are rewriting the spiritual DNA of your bloodline. And here's the most powerful truth of all: your descendants will never know the war you fought. They will never carry the chains you broke. They will never fear the darkness you defeated. They will never inherit the wounds you healed. They will walk through doors that were locked for centuries. They will breathe in atmospheres you bled to create. They will rise in places where your ancestors never even dreamed of standing. Chosen one. Heaven is not just blessing you. Heaven is blessing everyone who will come after you. Your victory is not personal. It is generational. The breakthrough you're stepping into is not a moment, it's a mantle. Chosen one. Now that the generational weight has fallen off your shoulders, heaven is revealing another profound truth. The pain that once threatened to poison you has become the very source of your power. What was meant to break you has become the foundation of your discernment. What was meant to harden your heart has deepened your compassion. What was meant to steal your voice has sharpened your authority. Nothing you endured was wasted. Every experience, every heartbreak, every sleepless night has been transformed into spiritual strength. Pain is a strange teacher. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for readiness. It forces you into depths where you discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. It strips away illusions. It confronts the ego. It exposes false attachments. And as much as we hate its methods, pain often does what comfort never could. It grows us. It matures us. It awakens us. But here is the secret: most never uncover pain was never meant to be your identity. It was only meant to be your initiation. I've walked through seasons where pain felt like a second skin, where betrayal felt personal, where disappointment felt final. I wondered why certain wounds cut so deeply and why certain endings shook me to the core. But now I understand pain was not trying to destroy me, it was trying to evolve me. It was stripping away the version of me that was too small for the future God had written. And once I embraced that truth, everything changed. The very experiences that broke me open became the places where divine wisdom entered. Chosen one. This is what happened to you. You did not drown in the pain, you transformed in it. You turned bitterness into clarity. You turned loneliness into depth. You turned heartbreak into discernment. You turned silence into strength. Like a blacksmith forging steel, heaven used fire, not to consume you but to shape you. That's why you don't react the same anymore. That's why your spirit feels older, wiser, and more grounded. You've been refined. You've been tempered. You've been prepared. And the version of you that stands here now is unrecognizable compared to the one who entered the fire. This is also why the old tactics no longer touch you. The enemy expected scars. What it didn't expect was resurrection. It didn't expect that the blow sent to destroy you would instead awaken you. It didn't expect that you would rise with insight too sharp to be deceived and a spirit too grounded to be shaken. You've evolved beyond the traps that once consumed you. You no longer operate from wounds, you operate from wisdom. And because of that transformation, heaven is entrusting you with something few truly carry: spiritual authority. Not the loud, performative kind, the quiet, undeniable kind. The kind that speaks without shouting. The kind that shifts atmospheres simply by entering a room. The kind that makes darkness retreat before you say a word. Authority born in fire is authority that cannot be taken away. This new authority in you explains why the things that once tempted you now feel empty. Why the people who once had access to your heart can no longer find the door. Why the environments you used to settle for now feel like cages. You are not resisting them, you've simply outgrown them. They speak a language your healed soul no longer understands. This is the true miracle of your transformation. You've become immune to the poison that once infected you. You are spiritually fortified. You are emotionally grounded. You are mentally awakened. You are divinely aligned. And now, because you have crossed this threshold, heaven is releasing you into rooms where your healed identity is required, places where your strength will be needed, where your insight will be valued, where your presence will carry weight. The version of you forged in suffering is the version that will shine in destiny. Chosen one, the fire did not take anything essential from you. It took only what could not follow you into your calling. Chosen one, now that the fire has revealed who you truly are. Heaven is bringing you into a deeper understanding of what just happened in the unseen realm. When the enemy realized it could not break you, it launched its final and most desperate attack. You felt it that moment when everything intensified, when the pressure became suffocating, when it seemed like all your progress was being undone at once. That wasn't coincidence. That was the last bullet, the final attempt, the closing argument. And chosen one, it missed. You didn't fall, you didn't crumble, you didn't retreat, you stood. And when you stood, the entire strategy designed against your life collapsed. The enemy doesn't have an infinite arsenal. It relies on repetition, on familiar patterns, on recycled triggers. So when its strongest weapon failed, everything beneath it fell apart. This is why the spiritual atmosphere feels different now. The enemy finally realized that nothing lesser can succeed where its greatest attempt already failed. I've lived through that moment before. The instant you realize you're still standing when you were supposed to fall. And it does something to you. It humbles you, but it also awakens you. You start to understand that the threats were loud, but the power behind them was limited. You begin to see that the darkness that once terrified you is now terrified of you. When the last attack fails, something shifts inside you. You stop fearing what you've already defeated. This is where you are now. Not weak, not recovering, but elevated. When that final blow missed, heaven didn't just protect you, heaven promoted you. You were lifted into a realm that your enemies cannot enter. This is why old insults don't sting. This is why familiar traps feel shallow. This is why voices that once echoed loudly in your mind now sound distant. You've risen into a higher frequency, a higher awareness, a higher identity. You are soaring above battles that once lived at your feet. The spiritual world knows this. That's why the battlefield is quiet. Not because the war is unresolved, but because the war is finished. And now, heaven is shifting you into alignment with blessings that could only be released after the final attack failed. You're walking into divine territory with an authority that cannot be challenged. What once pierced you cannot penetrate your spirit anymore. And this elevation isn't just emotional, it's structural. Your spirit has changed. Your defenses have changed. Your vision has changed. Your discernment is alive in ways it wasn't before. You can sense danger before it forms. You can see manipulation before it disguises itself. You can feel dishonesty even when the words sound convincing. This isn't fear, this is spiritual maturity. This is the immunity heaven gives to those who have survived real warfare. Chosen one, you have outgrown the frequency of attack. You've risen above the reach of your old enemies. The insults that were once weapons now fall like dust. The accusations that once harmed you now echo into nothingness. Your elevation is not symbolic. It is literal, spiritual, and permanent. And that is why heaven is preparing to open doors you once assumed were locked. You are stepping into opportunities that require exactly the level of strength you now carry. You are being called into environments that match your resilience. You are being invited into spaces that align with your healed identity, not your wounded past. This next chapter is not about surviving the fire, it's about walking confidently out of it. It's about entering rooms as someone who knows they are chosen, someone who knows they are covered, someone who knows they cannot be defeated by what they have already overcome. You are not who you were before the storm. You are not even who you were during it. You are the version of yourself that walks away from collapsed weapons, shattered lies, and silenced enemies with your identity sharper and your calling clearer. Chosen one, you are rising into a future where defeat is no longer a possibility, only transformation is. Chosen one, as we come to the final movement of this sacred message, your spirit needs to receive the fullness of what heaven has already begun. This is not the end of a teaching, this is the culmination of a divine process that has been unfolding over your entire life. Everything you've endured, everything you've survived, everything that tried to bury you has led to this moment of unveiling awakening and irreversible spiritual transition. You are not standing in front of your future timidly. You are standing inside the doorway of it boldly, because heaven has already gone ahead of you to establish what you are now stepping into. There is a point in every chosen person's journey when the suffering that once defined them becomes the very thing that qualifies them. You are in that point now. Your wounds have become wisdom. Your tears have become discernment. Your loneliness has become alignment. Your broken moments have become invitations into deeper surrender. You didn't merely survive, you were transformed at the level of identity. And when identity shifts, destiny unlocks. Chosen one. You are entering a season where everything that once intimidated you will now feel small compared to the authority you carry. The very things that used to feel like mountains now feel like stepping stones. The situations that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. The boundaries you used to struggle to maintain now come naturally. You have shed the version of yourself that tolerated anything less than honor, alignment, and truth. But this final portion of your transformation is about more than just rising. It's about receiving. You are stepping into a divine exchange where heaven begins to return what life attempted to rob from you. This is not a repayment, it is a restoration. Repayment compensates for what you lost. Restoration elevates you beyond what you even knew to ask for. And heaven has planned restoration for you. There are blessings assigned to your name that were frozen until you reached this level of spiritual maturity. There are opportunities that were withheld, not because you were unworthy, but because you were unprepared. And now you are prepared. There are doors that did not open before because they required a healed version of you to walk through them. Well, that healed version is here now. That awakened version, that refined version, that spiritually immune version. But let me tell you this from a place of deep truth. What you are stepping into is not simply a season of blessings, it is a season of recognition. Heaven already knew who you were. Now the earth will begin to see it too. People will look at you differently, not because your appearance changed, but because your presence did. They will sense the weight you carry, the clarity you embody, the authority you've earned through fire. Chosen one, you are becoming the living proof that darkness fails, that curses end, that storms exhaust themselves, and that no attack can outlast the endurance heaven planted inside you. You are stepping into days where peace feels natural, where blessings feel normal, where clarity feels familiar. You are stepping into a rhythm of life where you move with heaven instead of fighting against storms. And finally, let this settle in your spirit. You will never have to go through that again. The cycle has ended. The weapon is broken. The contract is void. The door behind you is sealed, and the future in front of you is blessed. You are crossing into a chapter where joy will not feel foreign, where stability will not feel temporary, where love will not feel dangerous, where prosperity will not feel unattainable. You have paid for this season with tears, with endurance, with faith that refused to die. Now heaven is releasing what your journey has earned. Chosen one, your story is shifting, your atmosphere is rising, your destiny is unfolding. And this time you're walking into it healed, whole, seen, protected, and divinely favored. Your new life begins now. Chosen one. As we come to the end of this message, let your spirit receive this truth with certainty. It is done. Heaven has already shifted the atmosphere around your life. What once pursued you has lost its power, and what once resisted you has now been commanded to release its hold. You are standing in your Kairos moment, your divinely appointed time, where every delay breaks, every cycle ends, and every blessing begins its journey toward you. Anointed one, may the peace of God settle over you like a mantle. May the strength you gained in the fire become the foundation you walk on in this new season. May clarity fill the places where confusion once lived, and may the assurance of God's nearness follow you into every step ahead. The supernatural transfer has already begun. Heaven has marked your name, and the resources, opportunities, and restoration assigned to your life are now in motion. Nothing can block what has been divinely released. I speak over you a renewed courage, a deeper discernment, and a faith that refuses to bend under pressure. Walk forward knowing that angels have gone ahead of you, that grace surrounds you, and that every promise tied to your destiny is unfolding in perfect timing. If this word resonated with your spirit, you are welcome to share it in the comments as a declaration of agreement. And if you feel led, stay connected so you don't miss what heaven is pouring into this space. Chosen one, remain faithful, remain aligned, remain expectant. Your new season is not coming, it has already begun. Grace and peace